Hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Gary's Mod. And today the map I'm going to be exploring is Tretyakovskaya, a dark underground map apparently inspired by Metro 2033. And I am super stoked to explore this in VR because Metro 2033 is a game that I really respected for how it handled paranormal phenomenon. Something that was so rarely at the forefront, but you always felt like it was present everywhere you went. It was a very subtle thing that I really enjoyed, and to me, it kind of defined the whole experience while still being such a small part of the game. Now, to aid me in this endeavor, I've recently come into contact with a piece of equipment that a lot of you have been suggesting that I play with, and I think this is the perfect space to try it out. I found this during my recent stay as a shipwrecked survivor on an island. And it's a little bit of a downgrade from the flashlight, but I think it adds quite a lot to the atmospherics. Unlike the focused beam that we previously had at our disposal, now we'll only be able to see a few feet beyond us at any given time. Something tells me we're not going to be able to travel in this direction. You hear that? I really hope there's not going to be anything waiting for me on this map like GMOD. Although this would be the perfect time to do it. Oh, where's the safety Glock when you need it? I'm clearly not going to be able to go this way, which is quite a shame because whatever sound I just heard came from that way, which is going to take us through the old train car. Something about a train car in a tunnel. It just looks like a face to me. There's just something about abandoned subway cars. Like you can just imagine them roaring through the tunnel at one time. All kinds of commuters and people that would have occupied the same carriage. Now just empty and rusting. You couldn't move it if you tried. Looks like we'll have to jump down on the other side. That didn't go on as far as I expected. Oh, this whole thing is caved in, but maybe we can access the maintenance tunnels? Can we make our way through here? No, it's all completely collapsed. But wait, maybe we can crawl through. Oh no, it's not letting me through. Maybe if I... Oh yes, if I crouch down just a little bit more, I can get through. Oh. Definitely a different experience using this lantern. The edges of objects, rusted metal just coming into view on the edge of my light. The darkness slowly receding at the same pace as I approach. Whenever something like this occurs, all I can imagine is something slowly backing up as I walk towards it, watching me from the darkness, knowing that it can see me, but I can't see it. That's the thing, when I'm holding a light source like this, a flashlight blinds what's in front of me, the lantern only blinds me to what's ahead. I'll have to keep it low so that my eyes don't just adjust to this. Let's try going back the other way. I am actually going to try taking the maintenance tunnel. I have to remember that I want to be thorough. Maybe I should come back later. Will this door open? Oh. There's actually electric lighting here. This looks to be some kind of generator or a maintenance room. That scared the absolute piss out of me. Okay, well, at least somebody's active down here. Can I take this with me? No, sadly. Alright, let's have a look around, I guess. See, much like Metro, the creator here has certainly gone to a lot of effort to make this feel like something that people occupied. It's not just dark and dirty and abandoned. You can see remnants of activity, the radio and the book, all kinds of tools and evidence of someone working on something. And that was one of the real strengths of Metro, is that they really made the tunnels seem like someplace where people live. Yes, this box is humming. This is clearly a location in use. The cobwebs caressing the tops of your head as you try to move through every doorway. It's that very fine line between abandoned yet inhabited. That sounded really dumb to say it out loud, but maybe you understand what I mean. The ambient sounds are certainly starting to pick up. I really hope, for my sanity's sake, this isn't going to be another GM Crot, where I explored for like an hour and a half, and only then did it decide to hit me with some scares. What is... Oh, this is huge! How can something like this... I mean, I know the Moscow Metro is quite ginormous, but it's so hard to imagine things like this existing underground. These... That swaying moss, or maybe that's cobwebs hanging down, swaying in the breeze. And when I first had a look at it, it almost looked like the tattered robes of some phantom floating on the ceiling. This place has already got me on edge. That's a long way down. Oh, but there's the surface right there, so we are close to the surface. It actually kind of reminds me of an image you might see in something like Stalker, which of course makes sense given the shared inspirations. Oh. More electrical hum from one of these boxes. I keep getting caught off guard by sudden sounds. I think it's because this map is giving me such major flashbacks to GM Crot. The last place I want to go is deeper. What's through this doorway? I have a feeling deeper is exactly where I'll be going. Not that this looks much more inviting. See, here we have kind of a landing strip, a runway, guiding me to that door. But if we're observant, we'll see that the room is quite a bit larger than it at first appeared. And by walking that narrow strip, I'm leaving a lot of blind darkness to my left and right, which is something that I do not like. That is very no bueno. These little lips of metal that poke out from the side, they always scare me as I approach. It just makes my brain, when I see them on my peripheral vision, make me think that something's reaching out from around one of the pillars trying to grab me as I pass. There's a lot of physics props littering the ground, and it sure does make for a nice immersively cluttered experience, but in VR it's a little bit annoying having my view jittered every time I touch one. Okay, we just went from DEFCON 5 all the way up to a solid DEFCON 2. Those are bodies. We've officially crossed the threshold where I don't think anything scary is going to happen in a map. Oh, that's lame. It looks like we're missing some textures for the ropes. I had to install like 3 assets packs to play this map. I don't know why this is happening. Hopefully there's not a whole lot of that. Touching you just made my skin completely crawl, and you're an asset in VR Gary's mod. Oh, jeez. Oh, God, I felt that touch on my shoulder. Alright, let's get out of here. Although I feel like this isn't the way to be going, that seems like I'm ignoring a pretty big warning. What is all this? First of all, let's see what's over here. Come on, let me through. Let me through. Another staircase going down below. The map creator said to disable all unnecessary mods so that this would work correctly. But now would be a really good time to drop a glow stick. I'll certainly be coming back to this. Sandbags and what looks like weapon crates. Like someone was trying to defend this corridor. The question is, were they covering this door, or were they covering that direction, trying to defend what's behind that door? In any case, they're gone now. Were those bodies the defenders or the attackers? Is that snowfall that I see through there? Oh, what a gorgeous map, but where is that light coming from now that I look at it? I had assumed that there must be some kind of hole in the ceiling because that looked like natural light. No! I thought it was natural light, but it's actually an electric one. Being cast right through all these metal bars and stuff, it actually created an illusion where I thought there must be like a hole up here somewhere. Probably helped out by the fact that snow appears to be falling in that other chamber. Oh my. This is so weirdly peaceful. There's something about decaying Soviet construction that, in a way, is like apocalyptic imagery and yet at the same time somehow calming. It's almost like a visual embodiment of the phrase, "This too shall pass." Something that I really love about the Metro franchise is that it's largely just normal people living in the remnants of a collapsed empire. And in some ways, at least just in some ways, they're better off for it. I feel like that's a common theme in a lot of apocalypse media. God, these stairs leave a lot to be desired. It's so hard to walk on them, like I'm getting caught on the side. But I feel like a common thing in apocalypse media is that you have that period in the beginning where so many people are dying, where so much is falling apart, where there's so many comforts being lost. But then through all of that, what finally results is something that's better than what was there before. for as much as I'd like to climb up and see the surface. It looks like this is the end of the road as far as going up. Enough of me trying to be all optimistic. We've got nothing to do now but head down. At least I'll find a use for my lantern. You know, knowing that I'm heading down further into the dark, I almost don't want to leave this. I mean, it's a little bit hot in my room right now, but seeing this image, it's like I can almost feel the cool air on my skin. This might be the last good image we see for quite a while, if those bodies in the other hallway are to be any indication. But now we've got to head down into the depths of this place. And I think the way we're going to make that entry is through that darkened pit of a stairwell over here. Come on. Yep. Was hoping to never have to use you again, Lantern, but you may be our only ally in this place. Looks like we may have quite a while to go yet. I don't like how narrow this suddenly got. I really feel things in VR, like in the claustrophobic element, when they make me have to push my shoulders together to get through. I of course, don't actually have to because it's a virtual space, but I feel like I have to. I feel so cramped in this. And for some reason, having a tighter space makes me feel that much more defenseless if there's something around the corner. I think there was something over there. When the red light passed over, I swear I saw the shape of a head. There's something there. There's some kind of shadow being cast that looks a lot like a person. It hasn't moved, so I'm really hoping that it's just some object that it's passing over, but it kind of doesn't look... No. That is actually a body. As I got closer, I could see the rope dangling down. I'm really sorry about that. Did I just hear something? Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sorry that it's like that. It's a little bit immersion breaking, but I don't really know what to do about it. I downloaded all the asset packs required for this map, and I have every source game I own enabled in the content, so I don't know what else I can do. So many little sideways and blind corners. And that light doesn't help. The way it's like a red, high-contrast light that spins around, it means you only see a given area for just a split second at a time. Did you really see something? You have to wade in to be sure. Another staircase, this one going up. Have we... Wait. Wait. Have we just gotten right back where we started? I think this is a new space. But I think we're back up on the same level we were on before. Looks to be some kind of storage area. I'm okay with a dead end right now. I've got a lot of different places I can check, and I feel like I've been kind of making a lot of to-dos in my time here. Is that interactable? It is! Alright, well, here's one more to do. Hello? Do I have to crouch down? I had to crouch down a little bit further. Okay, I'm in the vent. What does this do for me? Oh, why would I do this? I complained about being claustrophobic before. How's this for claustrophobic? Down we go. We're right back here. This is one of those little sideways, so I think I just bumped into my bed and it scared the absolute crap out of me because it felt like I reached behind me and grabbed onto someone's sleeve. That was not a pleasant experience. I'm getting out of here. The textures for this peeling paint and rusted iron. Something about them is just really capturing the experience of exploring in a way that other maps haven't. I feel like I can practically smell the must of this place. For some reason, there's like just that particular smell that abandonments all seem to have. And I'm definitely perceiving it right now. Also, whatever that smell is, I'm certain it's not good for me. But I do enjoy it. Alright, nothing to do here. Although those drains certainly leave something to be desired. This door probably leads to the center area that I've been walking around this whole time. Some kind of boiler room? But once again, something that looks like it's been in use after the bomb spell. Can't help but feel I'm being led. What is that? How did I not notice that? Hi. Oh, that was an experience. I don't know how I walked by that without noticing it. I guess after exploring for so long, I kind of don't really look at graffiti much, but I felt like I was being led, and then I turned around and just saw a figure at the end of the hall. Somehow it did not alleviate my concerns when I actually saw what it was. Just made it even more eerie. Speaking of eerie... Wait, have I been here before? Yeah, that door is open, so... Yeah, I've been through here. Yep. Yep. Which means what I think I'm going to do in the name of progression... Second time that box has gotten me. I'm gonna head through that train car and see where it leads. The one from all the way at the beginning. And then again... It may also be worth my time to head down there. It's odd, for something like this, you'd think you would be getting deeper and deeper, but here, I feel like every time I try to go deeper, it's pushing me further back up. It's almost like it doesn't want me to see what's all the way down below. Oh, but look at the artistry that's gone into this. Lit in just the perfect way where it still feels dark, but you really get the sense of how large it is. Once more, those electric lights, just something about the color of them makes it seem like daylight. And having all these spaces of just faux daylight, it's almost like a mirage of an oasis in the middle of the desert. Do you see that? Oh, I don't know if you'll even be able to see this, but it's like there's like some kind of dark cloud hovering in front of me. It's hard to see, even in VR. I don't know if it'll come across on your screen. The way some of these spaces are laid out, the way they make you feel like you're being led. I'm going to once again bring up the comparison to Stalker. Some of these spaces kind of feel like they have kind of a presence or an intelligence to them, where it's like they want you to see something. Walking through some of these areas kind of feels like the final act of a movie, where the protagonist kind of has a trippy sequence where it all comes together. I can't qualify any of this. I'm just reporting how I feel going through these places. Oh. This is the one place where we've been able to see daylight. But it's the bottom of the shaft. Alright, I guess we head back and see what's the other way. It's actually kind of incredible how small this large map feels. Because even though it feels like we're going from very large area to very large area, it always comes back to somewhere familiar. But then again, I guess that's how it would feel living down here, wouldn't it? Like after a while, you just become so familiar with everything that it doesn't really feel big anymore. Can we crawl into there? Not that I would ever want to. What's up this way? Oh, wait. This is a different vent. So, where do you lead? It always wants me to crouch down just a little farther. Oh. This is even more cramped than the other one. Whenever I watch the shadow recede as I approach, I always feel like there's some entity just slowly backing away from me, keeping just barely out of the reach of my light. And I always get the fear that something will come charging out of the darkness towards me, and that I'll hear it coming long before I see it. What is this? Did I just teleport? What just happened? I don't understand these vents at all, but I don't think they work in the conventional. I don't think they work as conventional geometry. Well, that is where I came from, but how did I get all the way outside? Alright. Now I'm more interested in seeing what's down here. Mounds of rubble. In a dark space. Hello, let me through. Can I get through, please? Let me in. Am I not supposed to be able to go this way? What? I'm in the crate room from before. I remember this place, but... Wait, if I open you... Okay, something very strange is going on with the way these doors work. Like, they seem like they work as teleports, but they don't need to because they really do lead to where you're going. This is definitely an anomaly, and I'm not really sure what's supposed to be happening here. In any case, I'm gonna head back down the ladder and try to climb down into that large cavern. This feels like, whoa, I'm doing a little bit of slip and slide in action here. This seems like water that I really don't want to be standing in. I'm going to keep to the sides where it is hopefully at least a little bit safer. And then again, in the recent adventure where I acquired this lantern, I also learned that it's not so safe to breathe in these mushroom spores. That was something biological. That wasn't just pipes. That wasn't just air moving through the vents. That was a groan. Oh, I am not looking forward to moving towards whatever that was with only a lantern to light my way. Thank you, game. I'm very appreciative. Well, with nowhere else to go, I guess it's time to actually go check out where that train car leads. I had a good run where I didn't have to worry about it, but this game, like many of the older ones in this series, is now making me spend a lot more time crawling about. Although I'm having less of a hard time with it, maybe this game is actually starting to strengthen my knees a bit. Yep, yeah, out we go. That entire end of the tunnel is overtaken with cobwebs. I don't know if we'll be able to get through that. What is that? I don't think... Oh. It's an overturned train car. I thought there was something standing back there, staring at me. Okay, but... Oh, we can get through! I would not want to do that. I mean... Something like this wouldn't exactly deter me from getting through, but I would never want to just walk through like this. Even the thought, I just can't stop feeling the itching all over my body. I can feel them all over me. Oh, and the floor is carpeted in them. Alright, let's rise out of the sea of spiders, please. Oh, there's more. I don't kill spiders in real life, right? I have generally a pretty live and let live attitude with them so long as they're not near food or my bed, but... Oh, this is pushing me past my limit. I don't hate them, but I don't like them being around either. Even my own model is resisting me going through there. That's hilarious. I can see... See, the thing about carrying a lantern is that if something were to stand in the light farther away from me, I would see a silhouette. But also, I'm very aware that my eyes cause me to lock onto the light and ignore the shadowy areas where I would not see a silhouette. It's the dark corners you have to watch out for, not the beckoning light. Oh, this tunnel is much larger. It seems like, yes, this must be where two tracks kind of merge. I wonder if we can go back down that way. A campfire. Now, I don't know if this map is meant to take place in the Metro universe, or if it's just inspired by it, but here we certainly see this place is still inhabited. It seems like someone only just left if the kettle is still on and the fire is still burning. I feel like humans can make anything into a home. And in Metro, they've been living down in the tunnels for like 20 years. And after a certain point, you go down there not expecting it to be the new place where you're going to spend your life. It's just a temporary shelter. Stop that. But over time, when you realize you're not going to leave, you really do start to turn it into home. And that's something that I feel like that series really nails, is seeing what people have done to the space, something that was never intended to accommodate people actually living there, when they've been there for 2 decades. You'd actually be surprised at how homey you can make a place like this. Human ingenuity, man. Of course, I always have to think about the fact that bombs up above would not have caused the subway car to flip over, leading me to wonder who or what did it and why. There's fires burning past some kind of obstruction up ahead. The remains of another camp? That's the thing about apocalyptic media, is that in any given space, you can tell a lot of story visually. There's all these overlapping layers of history. Here we have the Soviet era, remnants of the apocalypse itself, and then the things that people did in the years following the apocalypse. Back at where the tracks split, I'm going to jump up here because it is honestly making me really uncomfortable wading through all these webs. And see, I don't know if you can see it, but it seems like there's like these dark clouds hanging in the air. Which certainly makes sense that the air quality down here wouldn't be the best. I was kind of worried that we had almost reached the end of what this map had to offer, but I can see we're not quite done yet. Another barricade. Does that mean that something came through here, or just that they're trying to control the flow? Create choke points? I don't like not having a flashlight beam to be able to immediately point in the direction a sound is coming from. Because now all I can do is look. It doesn't actually give me any additional visibility. I can look, but all it means is that I'm going to hear it coming before I see it. It's like this area has been forced into 2 tunnels where it was previously open. And this looks like some kind of airlock, or at least that it would have been at one time. I think whatever settlement was here has since been either overrun or collapsed. But these concrete barriers, they're directional. It almost looks like if something were coming through here, you could use that as a choke point. You would crouch down right here and lean your rifle up on this. It's what I was talking about, overlapping layers of history. A lot of implied visual story. Metro is absolutely full of stuff like that, and I'm glad that the creator has taken that into account in creating this space. Alright, I'm not going to head down that way yet. I'm going to try the darker tunnel first. Oh, this is truly dark. This is truly, truly dark. And you know, I just thought of something worse than a figure slowly backing up as I approach. What about a lot of figures backing up as I approach? Imagine a whole legion of beings uniformly taking a step back with each step I take forward, just on the edge of the light, all staring back at me with unknown intentions. And other things you don't want to tell yourself when you're doing stuff like this. Well, at least I made it difficult for them. How difficult must it be to all walk backwards in unison uphill? Imagine you just hear one guy go, "Oh!" and then another one go, "Jesus Christ, Frank." Okay, I tried to lighten the mood. Clearly it didn't work as well as I had hoped. Wee woo. Wee woo. This is pretty spooky, not gonna lie. And I don't like how long it's going on for. I haven't felt this creeped out underground since the long, dark tunnel at the very bottom of RP Downpour. The tunnel seems to be narrowing here. Oh wait, these are sandbags. And this is a camp. And these are blast doors. Can I open them? Probably not. No. Well, nice little spot. Probably far enough down and in this little indent that were you to light a fire here, nobody would be able to see it if they're looking down the tunnel from afar. That's smart. I feel like down here, if you want to keep yourself hidden, light discipline would be a pretty big deal. You would naturally want to light your area, but also you don't want to be seen from afar. And I've heard that the end of a lit cigarette, can be seen from over a mile away. Now, why would the end of a subway tunnel be bricked off like this? This would have to have been done post-apocalypse, but also there's like the end of a pipe coming through it. And it looks like something knocked away at this wall. See, even something that would have to have been built post-apocalypse is in such rough shape, leading me to wonder just how long has it been? Alternatively, maybe this was a retired tunnel. Maybe it's something that was abandoned even before the fall. Oh, and I just realized that for as far as I just walked, if I want to keep this explorer going, I've got to walk all the way back. You know what? I'm not doing this alone. If I got to deal with this, you got to deal with it too. And I'm not going to give you the comfort of talking. Okay, wait, unshun, because I have a thought about this. For as scary as this is for me, I feel like fear is sometimes a matter of perspective. Imagine how scary this would be for someone else encountering me. The pitch black abandoned track, and just one guy slowly walking through holding a lantern in silence. Okay, Rishun. Unshun. I think we're back where we were. Yes, this is where the paths diverge. And this one has the decency to give us a little bit of bioluminescent light courtesy of these mushrooms. They're certainly a respiratory hazard, but they're also something that I want to see in these times. Now this might actually be a hole in the ceiling. I can see roots and such coming down from above. No, that might just be another lie. Oh, no, no! Look, it is daylight! Oh, that is so refreshing. Imagine how cool the air must feel here. How fresh the air must be when it fills your lungs. Being in an area like this and trying to kind of look at it from the mindset of someone that's been living down here, it kind of reminds me of the time a couple years ago I was in the hospital for something stupid, and at one point they had to move me from one building to another, and because of COVID, they weren't bringing me through the main halls. They had to bring me through the outdoor walkways. And when they were wheeling me out, like, just that brief couple of minutes where we were outside, just the fresh air felt so good. Imagine that feeling must be amplified by like 1,000 if you spend all your time down in these dark, dusty subway tunnels. And it appears that's the end of the road. Wait, hang on a second. And I'm going to be honest about this for the sake of transparency. I've already recorded the outro and walked back, and I spotted this on my no-clip pass to see if I had missed anything. There's a large chamber on the other side of this wall. Now, I haven't yet worked out how to get there. When I do my no-clip passes, I usually try to keep things in such a way where I don't spoil too much for myself if there's something more to investigate. But how do I get there? Maybe something through this train car. Okay, I just remembered. Those blast doors from before, maybe there's like a switch or something that we can use. No. No. There's got to be something here that we can use. I think it's right on the other side of these doors, but I can't figure out how to open them. Oh, it's a bell. So does that mean... Okay, it has to have something to do with that, right? I can't figure out how to get in, but I don't feel like this video is complete until I figure out what's on the other side. So I am just going to no-clip. Oh, it's a whole big chamber. I think... Oh, yes, this would be where they parked the train cars for repair. Oh, what a spot. What a base. And by far the most comfortable place we've seen so far. It's actually incredible, in these circumstances, what can come to pass for comfy. Like, in the metro, you look at a place like this and you think, wow, these guys are living the life. Even though here it looks like almost like the place you'd expect to find a homeless camp. Imagine making a home in a place like this. How do we get up onto that upper catwalk? Looks like we have to go through there? No, I can't see a way to get there. Oh, this way. It's so fascinating to me. I wonder how you open those doors. There's gotta be a way to do it, or else why would this all be here? It's gonna make me crouch one more time. It looks like this subway car was in pretty dire need of repair, even before the bombs fell. Unless they've been scrapping it for the metal, which is also a possibility. Oh, this chamber is huge. Can we open you? No, sadly. Alright. I think that's just about the end of the road. I just want to know how this door opens. This has got to be the switch, right? Oh, it plays the warning siren and everything. Oh, this would make such a cool RP hangout. But I don't see a similar switch on the outside, which, of course, why would there be, but otherwise, how do you get in here unless someone spawns in here? So that was GM Tretyakovskaya. And I just realized those cobwebs look very ghostly just swaying in the bright light like that at the end of a dark chamber. And coming away from it, all I can think about is what this map would be like on an RP server. I know that's not really the intention. I know it comes with a sandbox tag in its title. But walking through here, all I could think was what it would be like to have different enclaves living at different spots along the track. All those little cutouts and areas for people to hide in. And just the straight, narrow line of potential contested territory in between. But I guess what I'm telling myself really is that what I want right now is to play some more Metro. If you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to do that is at the Discord at the link in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one. I think it was just something with the way the aliasing on the railing looked, but I swear it looked when I turned around like something in the shadows moved to the side of the doorway.